Hello everyone, in another Leon training video. My name is Daniel and today I will show you SCHED module in Leon software. So if you would like to enter this module, you just need to hover mouse on the upper left corner where you will find SCHED. And the second tab will be fleet planning. But let's start with the SCHED itself. SCHED module will allow you to create repeating flights for multiple destinations, and you can create the flights in vast amount of time. So let's start with the filters and the upper part of the screen. So starting from the upper left corner, you have refresh button, so you can quickly check for some updates. You can define the starting and ending date that should be visible in the SCHED. Also, this date can be moved by clicking on the arrows. So if you click on the left arrow, you will be transferred 1 day to the past. With right arrow, you will be transferred 1 day to the future. Also, in SCHED, you can zoom in and zoom out. So if you zoom in the view, you will be able to see more details like hours, airport codes, time of departure, time of arrival and flight number. But if you zoom out, you will have less details, but more days will be visible on your screen, so you have more activities to check. Next thing is the publish button, but this we'll cover in a second when we'll be creating new schedule. Later on, you can select the correct time zone of the activities to be visible. In here, you can select UTC or one of your bases defined in the admin panel. Next thing is the aircraft filter. So in here, you can define which aircraft should be visible on your screen. In here, you can filter out for the aircraft type, aircraft registration, and also via labels which can be added to the aircraft profiles. Or you can just click or unclick the checkboxes visible next to the aircraft registrations to make them appear or disappear. In the aircraft filter, you can also create presets. So instead of applying the filter, you can click Save As, and then you can just add name of the filter, and you can mark the box, share it with other users if you would like to create public preset. Then you just need to click Create. You can of course apply the filter, and also you can reset it to remove all the selected details. The schedule in the SCHED module of Leon can also be imported. So if you have some Excel file or CSV file, then you can just upload the file and the flights will be uploaded directly into SCHED. In SCHED module, you can have multiple versions. So based on different clients or different seasons, you can create as many versions as you want by clicking on the Create New Version green button. In here you can define the name of the version, description and the client name. Then you can select the correct version that should be visible on the main screen from the drop-down list by simply marking or unmarking the checkbox. If some version is not needed anymore, you can just click the bin button to remove it from SCHED. On the right side you will find 3 dots. In here, each user can define preferred airport codes and details if you want to see reservations and maintenances. Reservations in SCHED will be visible in purple color like in any other module of Leon. The maintenances will be visible in brown or red color based on the aircraft on ground checkbox marked in them. So in the 3 dots you can define if you want to see those activities or if you want to focus only on flights. On the main page of the SCHED, you will find 2 sections. At the upper part, you will be able to see flights which are not connected to any aircraft registration or are connected only with the aircraft type. If the flight was already assigned to some particular aircraft registration, you will be able to see it on the bottom part of the screen. Also, you will see flights visible in 2 colors. Blue if the flight is visible only in the SCHED module of Leon, and green if the flight has been already published to the Ops module of Leon. At the bottom part, you will be able to select boxes that are visible for you. So you will have New Schedule if you want to create new flights. In this case, if you click it, then first of all you can define the time zone. So if the flight should be created in UTC or local time. The next step will be to select the correct version of the schedule to which the flight should be added. And then you just need to select the dates on which the flights should be entered. So let's start from 6th of February, and the ending detail can be date, selected from the calendar, but also the amount of block hours. So let's select 31st of March as the ending date. Next, you can define the aircraft and the aircraft type, but those selections are not mandatory, so you can leave it for later choosing. But of course, if you know the registration right away, you can select it, or you can just go with the aircraft type. So now let's select 390 aircraft type. Then you need to define the rotation. So if the flights should repeat every week, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, or every 4 weeks. You can also define the ICAO type of the flight. So if it should be scheduled flight, non-scheduled, general aviation, military, and other. You can also add tags to provide some additional information. When the flights will be added or published to the Ops module of Lyon, then the tags will be added with them. Next thing is the possibility to select days of the week on which the flight should repeat. So you can go with whole week, or you can remove some particular days. And now we have place to enter our flights, starting from the flight number. You can also add aircraft identification number, time of departure, airport of departure, airport of destination, and time of arrival. You can also add alternative airports, information about slots. Distance will be calculated automatically by Lyon, but if needed you can override it, and you can also mark the box if the flight is ferry. If you click on More, you'll be able to add additional details, like IATA service type, code sharing flight number, PRBD, PRBM, meal service note, traffic restriction, and departure and arrival terminals. For adding more legs, you just need to click on the plus button, and then new row will be visible for you. And you can also add the details. On the left side, you'll find day shift column. If you select some plus value here, then the flights will be moved between days. So for example, if on the second flight I will select +1, then the first flight will be created on Monday, Wednesday, Friday and Sunday, but the second flight will be created on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday and Monday. So this way you can transfer the flights between days by creating the schedule. Now, if everything is prepared, you can add the schedule to your version of the SCHED. So as you can see, the flights has been added and they are visible in blue color in the upper part of the screen because they are only connected to the aircraft type, not to actual aircraft registration. So now we can edit the flights. And for this, we have few options, because at first, we need to select the flights. So for this option, you can just use your mouse, so you can just click on some flight and select it. But if you want to select multiple flights, you can also do it with your mouse and your keyboard. So you can select the first flight, then you can hold your Shift button and select the last flight. If you hold your Control button on the keyboard, then you can select or unselect some particular flights. This way, you can focus on the flights that you want to affect. But also at the bottom part, you will find option Select Flights. If you click this, then you can select the flights based on predefined criteria. So in here, you can focus on some particular version of the SCHED, you can focus on particular time period, on some particular days, on aircraft registration, flight number, aircraft identification number, airport or airport of departure and destination separately, and also on tags. This way you can select the flights that you want. But also on the right side, still you can mark on or unmark the boxes next to the flights to remove some flights from selection. When the flights are selected, you can modify them. So if you click on the blue button Modify Flights, you will be able to change the details. So in here you can make a shift. So you can transfer the flight, let's say by 1 hour to the future. You can also affect slots, block time, aircraft registration, aircraft type, flight number, aircraft identification number, airports, alternative airports, ICAO types, distance, and other details which you can specify during creation of the schedule, but also, if needed, you can add ops notes and sales notes, which can be transferred once you will be transferring the schedule to the ops module of Leon. So now let's shift the flights by 1 hour to the future. So now the new time has been added and the flight now is departing on 2 o'clock instead of 1. If the flights are selected, you can also modify them by right-clicking. So then you have Modify, which will be the same option like the blue button at the bottom part of the screen. SCHED module will also allow you to delete the flights. So if you right-click, you will find Delete button right here, or you can click the Delete button at the bottom part of the screen. But if the flight is only in SCHED, then please remember that the flights will be totally erased from the system. Once the flight is selected, you can also publish it to the ops module of Leon. So you can do it with one flight or multiple flights at once. So in this case, if you click on the Publish button, you will be able to specify the client for which the flight should be added, trip type, so regular pax transport or any other type that is added to Leon. You can also transfer the flights as an option, so non-confirmed flights, and you can define the commercial flag, so if the trip should be commercial or non-commercial. Then, if those details are prepared, you can click Publish button and Leon will start publishing process. At first, the flight will be visible in dim green, but once they will be visible in bright green, like it is now, that means that the flight has been transferred to the ops module of Leon successfully. Now, one thing will change. If you mark such flight, then at the bottom part of the screen you will be able to see Show in Ops, so you can quickly transfer the view to the ops module of Leon to handle the flight from ops perspective. Also, if the flight is created in the ops module of Leon, if the flight is already transferred to the ops module of Leon, from ops perspective you can click Show in SCHED to quickly transfer the view to the SCHED module of Leon. Once the flight is transferred to the ops, you can still modify them. So the modify flights will be still in place, so you can click it, and we can, for example, confirm the trip. So in this case, I need to select option as No, and I need to save the change. Now Leon, one more time, will publish the change, will make an update, and the new color will be visible in both SCHED and ops. So your team will know that this trip is already confirmed, because it's visible in plain green color. In Leon, you have also option to swap the aircraft. So if you have two flights selected on the same aircraft type, you can go with swap aircraft. Then the aircraft will be changed on the selected flights, but this will work only if you have the same aircraft type selected. So I can click Swap, and the flights will be transferred. So now this published flight is visible under Delta aircraft. Leon will also allow you to use Auto Fleet Planner, which is for now in trial version. In this case, if you click on the Fleet Auto Planner button at the bottom part of the screen, On the left-hand side, you will be able to define the time period for which recalculation should be made. You can also transfer the time period with arrows or today button. You can refresh for checking for updates, and of course you can select the correct aircraft type for which you want to make the optimization. If needed, you can also include ferry flights, and then you can optimize the plan. So as you can see now, we have two aircraft types. We have one aircraft type but two registrations under it, but the flights are assigned only to one aircraft. So now let's click Optimize Plan. And Leon will start the calculation. So now Leon has proposed another scenario for the flights. And we can click Update to transfer the flights to different aircraft. The flights also can be exported. So if you want, you can export the flight to Excel or as a SIM file. If the flight is already transferred to the Ops module of Leon, then if you click Delete button, it will be deleted only from the SCHED module of Leon. In the Ops, it will remain as cancelled flight. So it will remain in system, and if needed, you can go to Ops and restore the flight. The second view under SCHED is the fleet planning. And this view will show you only published flights. So in here you will be able to see aircraft registrations defined in the filter. You can define the dates that should be visible in the screen. You can move the dates with arrows and today button, and also you can use the filter to select some particular airport or trip departure days from days of the week. And in here you can quickly reorganize the schedule. So if you want the second flight or the first flight to be assigned to ABCDE aircraft, then you can just mark the box and save the change. Sometimes Leon will show you warnings, because there might be problems with the flights. In this case, the whole row will be selected in red, and Leon will show you triangle with exclamation mark. So if you hover mouse on it, you will be able to see what is the error. In this case, we have airport discontinuity. So the airports are not in order, and if you publish this flight, there will be a need to create positioning flights to remove this warning in the Ops module of Leon. But still, we can ignore the warning and save the change. So you can use the fleet planning to quickly reorganize published flights. Thank you for the training.